Do people in Canada have cable, like other people?
We keep this up in the playoffs. I don't care.
And at Chili's. Is it a Chili's? At Kyle's?
Achilles.
Finally.
You don't know that?
Fuck you! Get this guy the fuck out of here!
Alright, well, coming in at number 5, I got Anthony Stolarz.
Now! Jets are winning the cup!
Thank you for watching and listening. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the NordCast. It is Thursday, October 9th, 2025. I am your host here, Nordic 97, joined with Carter. Carter, how are we doing?
Doing good. Hockey's back. I am in such a good mood now. Today has been just, honestly, like the last 2 days have just been absolutely amazing. Hockey's back. Went through the first 3 games. Pretty awesome. All right, there's some wild and cool things. Kyle Connor re-signed today. Absolutely amazing. So I am, as a Jets fan, I am on cloud 9 right now. They play tomorrow. I really wish I could go to their game on Saturday, but unfortunately I have to work. I'm missing their home opener, so I'm kind of pissed about that. But, I mean, it's hockey's back, and I could not be more excited.
It really sucks being employed, huh? Really stinks.
Yeah, employment on weekends is kind of like bogus. And like, who has a game on a, well, actually a lot of teams do, but like Saturday at 12:30, like the Jets don't get those. The Jets don't get those. No, that doesn't happen.
30. That's wild. All right, well, we got a mountain of news to talk about. We have so much to discuss. Things dating back to last week that we missed with our standings prediction. We were making those last week, so we weren't able to make a podcast. But now we're going to start being really consistent. Probably at least 1 episode per week, maybe 2, depending on our availability. We'll see what happens. But regardless, let's go into the news around the NHL. Carter, we have 4 big signings we need to talk about. 4 big ones that we need to discuss. And the first one that we're going to talk about is the one that happened the earliest of the 4, and that is Kirill Kaprizov's massive 8-year, $17 million extension with the Minnesota Wild. Again, this deal begins in 2026-27. We had a good discussion back in a previous episode, I think like 3 weeks ago or so, when he rejected that $16 million deal. We said that we were like, he probably might take a discount here, or maybe it's not the money, it could be something else, or it was going to be more. And as a result, it was definitely a lot more than that. This breaks the record for the highest paid contract in the NHL by a metric city mile. The second highest paid is Leon Draisaitl with $14 million. Kaprizov holds that record by nearly $3 million. Carter, as a Jets fan, what did you think about this deal?
I think that it's honest from a Jets fan perspective. I kind of like it, at least for like the next like few years, because it's going to be a struggle for them to like build out their team. However, I think that he definitely like he deserves this contract, man. Like he has been so dominant since when he's entered the league to pretty much now. He's still dominant. I mean, this guy was on a crazy point pace last year before his injury. I know I said in the previous episode that like injuries are definitely a big concern on why this contract, that $16 million one, I'm like, I don't know if I'd go that high with Krill. It was due to his injuries. Like this guy has not played a full 82 game season yet. And he's been in the league for 5 years now. Like it's unfortunate for him and unfortunate for the Minnesota Wild as well. But it was definitely a question that I think that you kind of had to ask from a fan perspective, at least, probably not from like a GM perspective. But yeah, he definitely earns this, and Minnesota was not going to let this guy walk for basically nothing. Like, or not for basically nothing. Let this guy walk without getting anything out of him. Like it was dead set that he was getting a bag.
So this is understandable. I understand the criticism behind this contract. People say that, he hasn't played a full season and all that. Well, you got to look at the context here in his 5 seasons he's played in his NHL career. So you go back to his rookie season, he played 55 games. Keep in mind, that season, it was 56-game season. So he basically played the entire year, only missed 1 game. The next year would play 81 games. That was his incredible 108-point season. Again, just 1 game less than the full game, or the full 82 season mark. 22-23 will play 67 games. Obviously, that's a little bit lower than what he had in the prior years, but still, he's playing over 50% of the year. And then in 23-24, you go back up to 75. And then this past year, he would play only 41 games dealing with the injury. So I guess it's an understandable criticism because, again, he did miss this year. He does miss a couple of games throughout a year, maybe around 10, 5-10, it depends. But to be honest with you, I don't really get it that much. I think you got to look at this from the perspective of the Minnesota Wild. We're looking at this from the perspective from what he's worth around the league. Let's be honest here. Kirill Kaprizov, I would have him, and I'll ask you this question in a second, I would have him just outside my top 5, if not in my top 5 for players in the NHL. Fair?
Yeah, I think he's guaranteed top 10. Probably if we were to do a full consensus of everyone who watches hockey, I think that Krill would probably be within the top 8 for sure.
Well, not everyone, because Jack probably forget him. Anyway, I digress from that. But what I mean by that and what I'm saying there, when you look in terms of that around the league, being the highest paid player when you're not the best player doesn't make a lot of sense. And that's totally understandable. But my thing with that is you got to look at this from the Minnesota Wild perspective. I totally agree that he should not be paid $17 million in the grand scheme of things in the league. This isn't no, he's not McDavid. And we'll get into the McDavid extension here in a moment. There's been so much, but we'll talk about that here in just a moment. But with Kaprizov, you got to look at it from the perspective of Minnesota. That man is impeccable. He is so valuable to that Minnesota Wild team. The value, he might be number 1 in terms of value of any team in the NHL or any player to any team. Maybe besides Connor McDavid. There's a few other guys there as I see you rolling your eyes, but regardless, he's up there in value. And Minnesota, this is one of those things that it's a hard pill to swallow and you probably don't like giving him that much money, but you kind of have to do it. It's one of those situations where you just kind of have to bite the bullet. And as a result, that's what we're seeing here with this contract. So overall, I mean, I think it's a solid deal, but it's nothing to really run away about here.
Mm-hmm. I think that when you look at this contract from if you look at it from a GM perspective, it's we're paying this guy. He's going to be $17 million. Yeah, it's a lot of money. Yeah, it takes up a good portion of our cap. But when you fully zoom out and be we have this guy for 8 years with a consistent rising salary where it's probably going to jump up $20 million in the next 2 years. On top of that, we don't have to deal with the outside noise of, oh my gosh, we just paid Kirill Kaprizov $17 million. We just lost Kirill Kaprizov. Would you rather hear we just lost Kirill Kaprizov, or would you rather hear we paid Kirill Kaprizov $17 million for 8 years? If you're a Wild fan, I think that you'd rather hear that 8 by 17, by far. So I think that this is definitely a move that Minnesota had to make because, as you said, he's probably one of the most valuable to their team by far because you look at where they were when he was performing at his peak, when he was performing at such a high level, right? I mean, they were literally fighting for first place in the NHL. And then he goes down and they follow the second wild card in the West. That doesn't just happen because you lose a role player. That happens because you lose a superstar, you lose the face of your team, you lose everything. That's what happens. And that's exactly what happened to the Minnesota Wild. And that's why Kirill Kaprizov, he deserves his contract, honestly. Does he deserve $17 million? You could question it, but he definitely deserves a lot of money for sure.
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, again, people forget, as you said, they were up there with Winnipeg battling for that first spot. And then the Kaprizov
injury. Crazy, by the way.
Yeah. And who knows? If he stays fully healthy, you could be talking about a Kirill Kaprizov Hart Trophy winner instead of who won it this year. That's how crazy this would have been. To be honest with you, though, again, if Kaprizov, we're looking at this from a league perspective, no, he should not be the highest paid player. But for Minnesota, it's just one of those things that you kind of have to do. Now, what's crazy, first off, do you have anything more on the Kaprizov stuff?
Not really, no, unless you say more things, and then maybe things will pop into my head. But I'm going
to move on to McDavid. Moving on to somebody who went and got all of the money that they wanted to a guy who took a pay cut in a absolute shocker. Now, I want to give Carter his flowers here because when we talked about Kaprizov in the same conversation, Carter said in our clip that Connor McDavid was going to take a pay cut and get around $12 million. I'll put the clip in the audio here for the podcast. So you can play it here.
Here's the thing. I don't think that McDavid will be signing for anything more than 14.
Really?
Listen, I'm going to give you the same logic I gave for Kaprizov, right?
Okay.
Connor McDavid, I don't think is like Kirill Kaprizov. Connor McDavid's better than Kirill Kaprizov. However, Connor McDavid also knows that in order to build a team around him, in order to have a guy like Leon Draisaitl either on his wing or as his second line center, to have a guy like Zach Hyman on his wing, to play with a guy like Nugent Hopkins, to have a great defenseman like Evan Bouchard, right? The money's got to come from somewhere. And it can't come from Connor McDavid taking up 10% of the cap.
And Carter obviously did get that one very, very right. So, Carter, anything you want to say to us about that before we?
I mean, listen, Sportsnet, ESPN, TSN, whatever you want. You could drop a Kirill Kaprizov bag to me. I'll take it gladly. No, but I mean, it was kind of like what was in the rumors, right? And you think of guys who want to win. Like you look at the guys that McDavid looked up to, like Sidney Crosby. I mean, that's like he wears 97 because Crosby wore 87 his birth year, which is the same. And McDavid 97, that's his birth year. Yeah. Whatever. You look at that guy who we grew up watching, and 8.7 was a lot of money back then. But he was taking pay cuts. Like he could have made more than 8.7, like 100% he could have. But he had that superstition to the number 87. He also wanted to win Stanley Cups. And you look at what he was able to do while making 8.7, while some guys were making like 9, 10, all that stuff, right? And he dominated. He was the reason that the Penguins were in contention for so long. McDavid takes $20 million. What does that do for Edmonton, right? And you look at this, the salary cap, the hole that they're already in right now. McDavid's making 12.5 right now, and look at the hole that they are kind of in. They have Draisaitl making 14.
At all.
It's already not pretty. So you think McDavid's going to be like, look, I want to win a cup in Edmonton, so I'm going to absolutely screw you by taking $20 million. No, that's not what players that want to win do. Players that want to win will do whatever it takes to win. They will take pay cuts. They will take money away. They will perform at the highest level. And that is what Connor McDavid does. So I felt real confident in saying that he's going to take a pay cut, because what's he going to do? Not take a pay cut, go play somewhere else, and lose out on a team that's going to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. Granted, it was kind of on the back of Connor McDavid, but we could skip past that, so this sounds a lot better.
Yeah, I was very shocked at the $12.5 million mark. You would think McDavid would get at least a little bit of a pay raise, like maybe gets 13.5. No, he stays right at the 12.5 that he signed after his entry-level contract. All the way back in 2017, which Peter Chiarelli signed that deal. That turned out to be a pretty good contract, I would say so. But regardless here, again, McDavid keeping at that same cap, as you said, it puts the Oilers in a pretty decent advantage here. Because, again, if McDavid did sign 20 with them or even signed more, it would screw them over and make things complicated. And keeping him at the 12.5, which, first off, again, as you said, I'm just giving you more credit here. They don't have a lot of options as it is with their overall cap situation, and they keep McDavid at the same amount of money. Now, again, as I said, they don't really have a lot to work with to begin with, but it does help that he's taking the same amount of money that he got paid last year and the 7 years before or whatever. So I love this for Edmonton, and I love it for McDavid too, because when you look at it from the perspective of Connor McDavid and him, wanting to get his bag later on, this puts the Oilers in a 3-year window. A 3-year window, essentially, to win a Stanley Cup. You got 26, 27, and 28 as your best opportunities to get this done here. Because not only when you look at McDavid, you look at the whole grand scheme of the roster. I'm going to stay with McDavid here for a second before I go and talk about that, because there was a couple other signings that I do want to touch base on here before we move on. But with McDavid, he's going into 2 years left on that deal. It gives Edmonton the opportunity to contend even more for a Stanley Cup. But not only that, this contract will take Connor McDavid until he's 31 years old. He will go to free agency. I'm going to be blunt with you. This is my opinion now on October 8th, 2025, 2 days after that deal was signed. I think McDavid's going to leave in 2028. I think he's going to leave the Oilers in 2028. Unless if the salary cap changes, and I know like you're 3 years away from that point, I think he's going to want to leave, or Edmonton's going to have to really pay him. And I don't know if I can see that with their current situation.
Okay. So do you think he's going to leave no matter what? Like, let's say by the first year of this new contract, right? So not this season, but next season. Let's say they win a cup. Okay. Do you think he still leaves Edmonton?
Okay.
I think no cup. I think he probably will leave Edmonton. I think if he wins a cup in that window, he's an Oiler for life.
Yeah, I do think so too. And I should have prefaced that. I think that if they don't win a cup, I think he is like almost 100% gone. Even if they do win a cup, though, I wouldn't be shocked if McDavid looks at this roster and sees all of these guys who are aging and is like, I don't know. I want to win. I want to go win a Stanley Cup, and I don't know if I can do it here with the Oilers. Because, again, it's undeniable. You look at this roster. Nugent Hopkins, 32 years old. Adam Henrique, 35 years old. Janmark, 32. You have your entire blue line. Darnell Nurse is 30. Ekholm's 35. Wallman is 29. Kulak's 31. Stetcher's 31. So, like, this core is aging. The roster is getting older. You do have your younger guys in there like Savoy and Howard are 21. Bouchard's 25. Draisaitl's just a year older than McDavid. But you do look at the aging roster of this core. Unless if they get more youth in there by the time McDavid's coming up, it wouldn't shock me even if they do win a cup, he decides, I want to go win elsewhere. It would not shock me at all whatsoever because, again, like maybe things are different in 2028. The cap could be $150 million. You really don't know, but I think that with their current situation, and it's probably going to stay that way, where they're crunching right up there against the cap, I think it's going to be pretty hard for them to sign him because there is no reason at all, especially if they win a cup in 2028, for McDavid to take a pay cut. And I'll go more into the 3-year window, but I want to go back to you for a second. What do you think about what I just said?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. I think they win a Stanley Cup at any point in these next 3 years. McDavid will re-sign at the end of this contract and be an Oiler for life. He will take his money and he will move on. If they don't win a cup, I think that there's a 90% chance he's gone. Where is he going to go? I don't know. We're going to have to see who's comp in 3 years. If he goes to the Florida Panthers, I think the NHL is going to lose its mind.
I don't want to go there.
Edmonton will do a Vancouver like 2011. I guarantee it. But we're not going to go there. We're not going to discuss, McDavid's going to Florida. That's not going to happen.
That's way too far.
However, I think that this is all hypotheticals. So let's throw it a hypothetical. Okay. Edmonton does not win a cup in these next 3 years, right? McDavid, he's like, I've given 13 years to the Edmonton. Like, he's given them 13 years. If he doesn't win a cup in Edmonton in 13 years, there's some sort of problem there, right? What do you think that he does? Do you think he's signing continuous 2-year deals, trying to find a cup, trying to find a team that will help him win a Stanley Cup? Or do you think he's going, no, I want to just find a forever home, one more stop, and try and win a cup and sign like a 7-year deal?
No, again,
I guess it'd be a 6-year deal, eh? Yeah, it'd be a 6-year deal.
I mean, it could be 6. We'll see.
Well, no, it has to be because it goes down.
Oh, yeah, with the CBA, you're right.
So it would be a 6-year deal. So do you think he signs a 6-year deal or starts signing like 1-2-year deals, trying to find that cup? Does he pull like Kevin Durant type moves? Like what do you think? Like, this is a stupid hypothetical, but it's
one that I feel like I want to ask. If he were to leave the Oilers, would he sign 1-year deals, or just in general, would he sign 1 or 2-year deals?
Like, he could just sign 1 or 2-year deals in Edmonton until he wins a cup and then finds his forever home, or do you think he'd bounce around?
Well, I think if they don't win a Stanley Cup, and unless if they get just like so much younger, I think he leaves. Like, again, like, I think that's really that's the only answer I'm going to have for you, to be honest. Like, if they don't win a cup and they don't get younger during that period, and McDavid's not confident, he has no reason to stay, like, to be honest with you.
But, like, do you think that he would, like, go to different teams on 1-2-year deals, or do you think he'd pick one team and sign, like, a 6-year deal?
That is interesting. I mean, it's a big hypothetical, and we're really going down a rabbit hole here. That's like 3 years away. We might
3 years away and potentially a cup away.
We might not even be doing podcasts by then, but I hope so. But regardless, like, I mean, I will say this, like, it's a lot to speculate, but I would say like he would probably go and lock in for a 6-year deal, or maybe even a little between that. Like you're saying 2 or 6, it could be in the middle. It could be like a 4-year deal. We don't know. We can't really predict. We can predict the future, but we're probably not going to be right. So,
unless you're me.
That. I want to go to current date though, 2025-26. You look at this Edmonton roster. Now we're going to go and pan over to a couple of different players here on this roster. I know we said we talk about the big 4 signings. We'll get to them in depth here, but I want to really hit it on a nail here for the Oilers. You look at the guys that they signed in the last 2 weeks, and not just on the on-ice product. You have Vasily Podkolzin, 24 years old, just signed a 3-year extension. That'll kick in next year. They signed Matthias Ekholm, 35 years old, signed a 3-year extension. That'll kick in next year. That'll take him till he's 39 years old, or actually 40 maybe, because he'll be 36 when that deal kicks in. Regardless, they also signed Jake Wallman to a 7-year deal. That'll take him till he's 37. So that's something. And you look at this overall roster. Besides that, you have Leon Draisaitl signed on his $14 million deal. He's in the first year of that. You have Nugent Hopkins is at 5.125 until 2029, or 2028. So you have a lot of these players, like Trent Frederick also locked up too. Zach Hyman's on his deal as well. You got to look at it here. Like the Oilers have a pretty short window coming up, and they just locked up these players to these contracts. They are basically locking in with this team. This defensive core of Bouchard, Nurse, Ekholm, and Wallman, they're locked into here for the next foreseeable future. You look at the forward core. The forward core is a little bit less interesting because you have a couple of guys who are expiring, but you are locked into Draisaitl, McDavid for 3 more years, Nugent Hopkins for 4 more years, Frederick for 8 more years, Mangiapane for 2, who you just signed, and then you have a couple of free agents there like Henrique, Kapanen, Tomasek, Lazar, Philip, the other guys, Kulak as well, and Stetcher. They didn't only just lock up there on ice. They also signed Chris Knobloch to a 3-year deal last Friday. So they're not only locked up here and locking in with this team, not only on ice, but off the ice too. They are confident in their coach who has taken them to back-to-back Cup finals. So, Carter, I ask you the question here. With this current core right now with the Oilers, this current aging core that has made it to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals, do you see them winning a cup in the next 3 years?
That's such a tough question. I think they kind of have to know. Like it's a hard question to really answer because I think they realistically they should. If I were to bet money on it, I probably would. I think that they would win a cup within the next 3 years. Because if you're telling me you just went to 2 straight Stanley Cup finals, lost both of them in heartbreaking fashions, and you have the best player in the world on probably one of the best contracts in the world. You have a player who's arguably number 2 in the NHL to some people. You have an amazing offensive defenseman. You have a very good defensive defenseman. Your second line is probably one of the best in the National Hockey League. Like it's probably up there with like Florida and all these other teams, right? They have to. Like if they don't, this is just a waste of an Edmonton Oilers team. And there's problems, but where do you even look? Because you want to say, oh, well, it's got to be coaching. He's taken them to 2 straight Stanley Cup finals. Can't be that.
It really is interesting because you would think with this team going to those back-to-back Cup finals, like it's pretty rare that you go to 2 straight Cup finals and you lose both of them. Like I think it's only happened once before, and it was back in the 70s, I believe. So it's pretty rare to see a feat like that happen. I look at the Oilers, and the biggest problems for me, I have a couple. The first one is the defense. There are concerns with the defense and the way it can play defensively. The thing is, though, is like these guys are good. They're good defensemen. Like Bouchard, great offensively and offensive talent. Darnell Nurse is overpaid. He's not like, I'm not going to say he's no like incredible defenseman, but he's not like horrible like people are making him out to be. Ekholm, their best defensive guy. Wallman was great for them last year. Kulak was a good defenseman as well. He's expiring as well. After that, there's Emberson, Stetcher, Regula. You can get into that later. That's the depth of the blue line. But my biggest problem is just that a lot of these guys, when they come into the big moments, they just tend to just mess up. And there's just defensive lapses that can't happen. We saw it so many times. One that really stands out to me was that Bouchard turnover to give Florida the first goal in Game 6 of the finals. That really stands out to me. I really remember that a lot. And I feel like in these big moments, these players haven't been able to come through. And we have beat the other problem to death, and I think you know what I'm going to say. It's the goaltending. And look, again, yeah, I know you're shocked by that, aren't you?
What's the way?
You look at this tandem, Skinner and Pickard. These are two goalies who have been good on the playoff runs there, and they've looked good in spurts, especially Calvin Pickard. He looked good in the finals at points. But the inconsistency is too concerning. I'm sorry. It is too concerning for me to be so confident in it. They always prove us wrong. And then when you think that everything's solved, this is it, they got it, it goes back to them screwing up again. Like, you can't tell me that when they played, Vegas or any of the other teams, you were like, yeah, I'm confident in Stuart Skinner in this. Like, they're going to win. I picked Skinner to lose that series. I made a video during that playoffs criticizing Stuart Skinner. He goes in there in Game 4, gets a shutout, gets another shutout in Game 5, plays phenomenal, played good in the Dallas series too. And you're thinking to yourself, and I'm sure you thought the same way, Carter, you're like, Skinner's found it. This is it. They're going to do it. And then they go in there and Florida just lights them up in Game 3. And you have Calvin Pickard there that comes in. Pickard looked good. I believe they started Pickard in Game 5. He shits the bed. They put Skinner back in. When in the last 5 years have you seen a team's starting goaltender get pulled for another one? In this instance. With Vegas, Carter, I know you're raising your hand for Vegas probably. With Vegas, that was an injury, I believe. What are you raising your hand for? Are you talking about last year with Anthony Stolarz?
No, I was going to talk about Connor Hellebuck, but I'd rather not.
Oh, no, I meant goalies who went on Stanley Cup runs, like went to the Cup finals and won the Cup.
Oh.
I wasn't talking about just goalies in general.
Ouch.
You brought that up. I wasn't going to throw shade on your guy Hellebuck. So you brought that up. That's
on me. That's on me. What about when Florida didn't start Bobrovsky? When they started
back in 23? Yeah, when I guess that is one that you could bring out.
Bob was definitely the starter. However, they didn't start him to start the playoffs, which was weird.
But the thing is, though, Alex Lyon kind of stole their net at the end of that season because Bobrovsky wasn't playing that well. And then obviously, the rest is history. But regardless, when do you see a Stanley Cup winner do that unless if it's for an injury? You don't see that. You don't. You look at 2024, Bobrovsky played every game besides Game 4. Anthony Stolarz, shout out to him. 23, it was a little bit of a different instance because, obviously it was Bressois for a little bit, I think, and then he got hurt. And then they brought in Logan Thompson. Thompson went in there and carried the team the rest of the way through. In 2022, Darcy Kemper was their goalie most of the way. Kemper did deal with an injury, so Francouz played a little bit, but Kemper was their guy. They were fully confident in Darcy Kemper. 2021, Vasilevsky won the Conn Smythe. So there's no doubt about that. Like, again, I know I'm going down the rabbit hole here, but you never see a team with pull their goalie like this and have a goalie that struggles in Stanley Cup. Like, the inconsistency is too much to ignore. And I'm sorry. Like, the people who say it's not a problem, it is a problem. Because, yeah, he has spurts of being really good, but at the same time, he also has spurts of not being so good. Like it's too consistent to be confident in. So I would say for me, the goaltending and the defense are my two biggest problems when I look at this Oilers roster.
You want to know something that kind of sucks for Edmonton is they were supposed to have this goalie issue fixed how many years ago?
Forever ago.
No, they were no, realistically, man, like when we look at where is he? Were they finally off his contract?
Mike Smith?
No, Jack Campbell.
Oh, Jack Campbell. No, they bought that deal out.
Right, they bought it out. So you think about it, they were supposed to have their goalie. Jack Campbell was supposed to be that guy, and he didn't work out. Like, realistically, if Jack Campbell worked out, we could be looking at the Edmonton Oilers with a Stanley Cup right now. We're not talking about Connor McDavid signing a 2-year deal and him potentially leaving. We're talking about Connor McDavid cementing himself as one of the greatest NHLers of all time. We're talking about him being a lifelong Oiler, signing an 8-year, $20 million contract. But instead, Jack Campbell decided to fall off a cliff, and which is very unfortunate. I think every person who watches hockey loves Jack Campbell. Like he's a
very nice guy.
Seems like an awesome dude. Like unbelievable, hilarious guy. But he was supposed to be their guy, and it kind of sucks for them that he just didn't work out, and it's super unfortunate. And now we're in this conversation of, well, now they got to figure out goaltending. Like Stuart Skinner's not the guy. They're constantly pulling him and everything like that. Pickard's, is he the guy? I don't know. He's had some flashes in the playoffs. He looked very good in the first round, and then just he went in against Florida and was cold and just couldn't figure it out. So Edmonton has 3 years to figure out who their goaltender is going to be. They're getting off the Stuart Skinner contract this year. He doesn't have an extension, and I don't think he will get one. And if he does, it'll be like a $2 million backup deal. They're getting off Pickard at the end of this year. Kulak is done after this year. I think next year, I'm pretty sure they have $23 million in cap space to work with. However, that is losing Filip, Kapanen, Henrique. Losing Henrique's $3 million contract is going to be nice because they'll be able to get him at a nice pay cut.
35 years old.
Tomasek and Kulak, really, and then the rest of the guys are locked in. So they could fill out they have $23 million. They could go out and trade for a goalie, do something, figure something out to get yourself a goaltender. Like I don't understand, and I don't want to put this out there, but I kind of feel like I want to. So I'm going to do it right here, right now.
What are you going to say?
Do we see a world where the Nashville Predators are so bad UC Saros becomes available? $7.7 million. I understand he is their franchise goalie, right? And it's very rare that you see franchise goalies traded. But if Nashville has another stinker of a season and Edmonton calls up and says, hey, we got insert player, draft picks here, hangs up the phone, do we see Nashville think about it? I don't know. Like, that could solve their goaltending problem. I think that he'd be great in Edmonton, right? Like, with the amount of cap space that they could end up having next year, if they're like, no, you know what? This forward core, this D core, we're sticking with it. We just got to find a goalie. If they can do that, UC Saros could become a guy. We could see some other goaltenders, become available if they have, they just got to find the goalies that are on good contracts right now. And if they can, we could be looking at a very, very good kind of team for Edmonton. So it's not a lock, but it's definitely something I feel like I kind of want to put out there.
Well, I got to say this, then we got to move on because we got so much to talk about and we only have like a half hour here left to discuss. That is a good hypothetical. The only thing, though, with that is is Nashville really going to do that? Is Stan Bowman going to want to give up assets for that? There's a lot of questions to that. But again, if they can make it happen, then we'll see. But again, I'll wrap with this with Edmonton. I feel like they have a real 3-year window here to go for a Stanley Cup. I honestly think these past 2 years were their best chances to go and get one, and they just couldn't get it done. But they got 3 years left kind of to do this before things really change, and we'll see if they can make it happen. Okay, let's move on then from the Oilers. You spent about like a half hour on them. That'll be a good.
Yeah, that was a while. But
that'll be a good
enjoyable times
on the channel to post. But regardless, Kyle Connor. We're going to move on to Connor now with the Winnipeg Jets. Carter will be very happy to discuss this. He signed an 8-year, $12 million contract with the Winnipeg Jets. Carter, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think that this kind of influenced, or do you think that McDavid, kind of influenced this Connor extension?
I don't think so. I think that Kyle Connor was already rumored to be around this 12, in between this 11 to 13 mark. I kind of kept seeing him at. So I don't think the McDavid deal had anything to do with it. Right. Plus, there's no way Kyle Connor takes if Kyle Connor was to take a pay cut, it'd be $10 million. I don't think that realistically he would have. I think open market he might get $14 million, but I think we kind of got a little bit of a, we brought you up, you've seen what we're building, we just won a President's Trophy discount. I think that's what we got, and I'm very happy to be giving him $12 million. I'm so stoked with this contract. I can't even describe. I'm so happy I'm gonna leave it at, I'm just so happy that we got this contract done. I sent you guys a post earlier, but we have Gabe Vilardi, Mark Scheifele, and Kyle Connor all locked up till 2031. That's our first line set.
And Connor Hellebuyck.
For the next, yeah. Well, we do have Connor Hellebuyck. For the next 7 years, for the next 7 years, we have our top 3 forwards locked down. Really, just wish Josh Morrissey was coming up too, because I'd love to hand him an absolute bag right now. And then we also have Connor Hellebuyck locked up for the next 6 seasons as well. We have him till 2031 too. And Neil Pionk as well. Holy crap, we got ourselves a nice look. Anyway, I'm so happy. We have our main guys locked up for a long time now. So I'm very, very happy with this. I like the number. I love the fact that he's getting $12 million. And I would like to throw this out real quick. Do you not think that Mark Scheifele and Connor Hellebuyck are absolutely punching themselves in the leg right now?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, again, when it's kind of interesting to go back to that, because I remember we were making episodes when that was going on with that whole situation, and I think you said you wanted them to sign them, right? Or did you want them to go?
No. So I said this in the early days of the pod. This might have been the first year of the pod. I was man, they should just tear it down. I was like, man, they gotta tear this thing down. I think we should rebuild. I mean, you think we can't get value out of Mark Scheifele? Think of someone who would love him on $4 million a year for the next 2 seasons. Look at Connor Hellebuyck. You got a superstar goalie. So glad they don't listen to me sometimes, and I'm just
they don't listen to you at all.
I'm so happy. Happy.
So I will say my piece about this here a little bit. I think it's really good that they got this done for a couple of reasons. First off, it's good to have your player signed before you start the season. We saw that with McDavid. We were concerned they weren't going to get that done. We saw that with Kaprizov, the 2 who we just talked about. But it's really good to get this done because of the fact that when you go into the season and your player is playing, it's hard to get a contract done during the regular season. That's very difficult. And it's pretty rare that we see players get it done, especially of this caliber. It's not impossible because Shesterkin signed midway through the year, but it's a little rare to see players like that, get signed during the year. And the other reason is Nikolai Ehlers. Obviously, they couldn't get that signing done. He left off to Carolina. So obviously, this was the next big problem here for the Jets. You could not lose Kyle Connor. Losing Ehlers was a big loss. And I think getting a guy in there like Connor, who scored, almost 50 goals last season. You were calling for 50 goals, but he just came 9 short, unfortunately. 3 short of 100, too. He didn't have a good year last year. But regardless, it's great that they got this contract done. And again, as you said, they do have these guys locked up for the next 7 years. We were asking ourselves the question, is this going to be the last year the Jets really contend? I don't think so. I don't know why people were really saying that, to be completely blunt with you guys. I do get it, though. Scheifele is 32, Connor's 28. You do have some old guys in this roster. Nyquist, 36. He's a rental, obviously. The Jets, though, I will say this about their roster. They do have a lot of pending UFAs coming up for both sides of their team. On their forward core, Cole Perfetti's expiring. He's an RFA. Adam Lowry, your captain's expiring. Gustav Nyquist is on the books. Taze, obviously, who's obviously just signed. You also have Koep, Pearson, David Gustafson. On the D side, you have Luke Shen, Colin Miller, also guys expiring there too. So you have a couple of guys there who are expiring here. Winnipeg has a chance to possibly either re-sign all these players, keep them around, or go out, kind of get a new clean slate here on their forward core, maybe sign some big agents here in free agency, or they do a little bit of both. So there's a lot of options here for Winnipeg. But regardless, when you look at this team, they have built themselves together here a pretty great roster. And again, as long as Connor Hellebuck's their goaltender, I'm confident they will be a very good team.
I completely agree. I am so excited for the next 6, well, I guess I don't want to say the 6 and 7 years of my life watching Jets hockey. I'm so excited. Words can't even describe it. Words can't I love it. I love it. I love having franchise guys signed. Oh, it's so awesome.
I'm happy for you. Okay, let's move on to the fourth and final big signing here. I did not think it would take almost an hour for these 4, but Jack Eichel is the last of the 4. He just signed today. Connor signed this morning. Eichel signed about an hour before we started recording here. He is now locked up on an 8-year, $13.5 million contract. Again, for the Vegas Golden Knights, when you look at their roster, this was good to get done. As I said, like if you have a player who goes into the regular season of this caliber, it's hard to get a contract done. And signing Eichel to this deal at 13.5, he's paid $1.5 million more than Marner. I was a little bit interested to see if they were going to be able to get this done. But again, Eichel locking in here for the long term. The only other thing that I really have to say is that Vegas, I really do think they're going to do some real damage this year. I love their forward core from top to bottom. This could be like their best year, at least right now, to go and win a cup, or the next 2 or I would say this is probably the best year because Eichel's in there at that $10 million mark. He's going to get paid 13.5 the following year. This could be their best opportunity to go out and get another Stanley Cup. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that this has got to be like their best chance right now. Like
maybe not their best chance, but again, Eichel going into that big deal, like this is a really good chance for them to do it. I don't know. You can't speculate.
I think that this could be one of their best chances. I'll be honest with you. I already loved this team before Mitch Marner. Like this team already did so much damage, and now they added Mitch Marner. Now, the only concern that I really have is they have a few guys who are hitting, like they have $13 million in cap space at the end of this season for next year. So they're losing Ben Hutton, Jeremy Luzon, Demick, he's a restricted free agent. Dorofeyev, he's a restricted free agent. Colton Sissons, Riley Smith, and Brandon Saad. Those guys are all going to be free agents at the end of this year. So they do have some holes that they're going to have to fill, which will be interesting to see what they do with that. On top of that, they have a lot of cap relief this year from the Alex Pietrangelo season-ending injury reserve. So they got full relief from him. So we'll have to see how that ends up working out. I think they got like $1 million to work. Yeah, they got like $1 million to work with. So still have some room there for them this year. But I think that with how their future looks for next year, this is going to be a very, very good chance. It might not be their best, as I said earlier, but I think it's definitely going to be one of their best chances for sure. Next year is going to be a fun time for Vegas. I think that it'll be fun to see what they do with their roster next year, but we're focused on this year, and I think this is going to be a really good year for Vegas. So
we've been looking at every team's outlook here with them being signed. What would you say is the biggest concern right now with this team? Because I have 2, and they're kind of similar to Edmonton, but one of them I'm not as concerned with as the other.
Like a backup goalie, maybe. Like Akira Schmidt's still solid, but I mean, they could do better. But I mean,
you are confident in Adin Hill.
I am very confident in Adin Hill.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that Aiden Hill is definitely a very good goalie. The only other concern that I have, which isn't like it's not a huge concern, but their D-core is a little weak without Pietrangelo. But at the same time, like it's still good, dude. It's still a good D-core. Like as much as I want to say, like, oh, it's a question. It's really like it's not a big question to me. Like they still have so many guys that I like. Like I've told you, I'm high on Shea Theodore. I love Shea Theodore.
Oh yeah,
I think McNabb, he's good too. They have Noah Hannafin on this team as well. Like Noah Hannafin's still an unbelievable defenseman. Zach Whitecloud is sick too. Like, and not only I haven't even gotten to Lazon and Korjak. Like this team is still so good. Like they're deep everywhere, and it's so annoying. But at the same time, you just have to respect it. But I don't
they
really
do
have like...
I think people underrate their forward core. People underrate their forward depth. They have a really good top nine.
Oh,
Pavel Dorofeyev scored almost 40 goals last year. Very underrated player.
Yeah.
Very underrated guy. He went from
so sick
13 goals in his rookie year to 35 this past year. He's very underrated. He's going to get some money. Mike, I do have a concern with the D-core, and the reasoning for that is I think it's a very good top four. I love their top four of Theodore, Hannafin, McNabb, and Whitecloud. I do think, like Carter, you look at that D-core, don't you think they could use like some defensive depth there maybe, or like another strong top 4D with Pietrangelo out? You don't think so?
Can I be honest? No. I'll be honest.
You think they would keep this
don't
for the season to this? Really?
I honestly think that like this is still a better D-core than a lot of playoff teams. Let's be honest.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I agree with that.
This is still like a top 10 D-core, and I think that this is a top 3 forward core.
Yeah.
Like if you have a top 3 forward,
I think.
No, I know, but I'm
okay. All right, I'll let you talk.
But let me say my thing. It's a top 3 forward core, and if you have a crazy good forward core, you can hide a little bit of the weaknesses of the D core. But at the same time, I still don't think this D core is like anything to be concerned about. Like,
no, I'm not concerned about it.
Like, I get what you're saying. Like, if I was to put a question out there, sure, I'd maybe say that they could use, another big time player to go along with Shea Theodore, right? Maybe that's the one thing, or a big time player to go next to Noah Hannafin, right? Like someone who could fit there. But I don't think that that's like a big need for Vegas. I don't think I'd really, if I was a GM, I wouldn't say, I think I'm just going to let this team play, see what happens midway through the year. Maybe we see, there's an issue with, I don't think that, Whitecloud's performing very well in a second defenseman role. Maybe we got to figure something out there, or yada, yada, yada. I don't think that there's that big of a question with Vegas. I'll be honest. I don't have one. This team is so good.
Not even really like a big time player. I would like somebody who would work out in a like for example, like how Winnipeg picked up a guy like Luke Shen. Like I feel like they could use a good.
Like you want just like a 7th D man.
You think Luke Shen's not a 7th D man?
No. I know, but like you're saying like a Luke Shen like type thing. Like sometimes he would bounce in and out of the lineup. Like you want like you want like a bottom. You want like a third pairing guy.
Yeah, somewhere along that stature. I think that Caden Korczak is a little bit underrated. He just got signed to a 4-year contract worth $3.25, which I think is kind of wild for a guy like him. But regardless, I digress. I just think they could use another guy just extra down there. It never hurts to have defensive depth. I mean, you look at their depth chart down below. You have Jacob Magna, Dylan Coughlin, Lucas Cormier. You have your guys down there, but I feel like they could just use some more defensive depth. Like it never hurts to have that. So that's kind of what
you know what? If they were to add like a potential like 6th D man or someone who could be 7th D man, like someone like that, I think I'd be okay, because I think that the Pietrangelo injury hurts them in that sense. But yeah, with kind of how you explained it,
they don't have a lot of flexibility to really begin with their cap. They're not going to be able to go on and get like a big name guy, a player to go out there and just like be dominant for them. So I think they might have to just like side with a depth defenseman or a depth forward. So that was what I was trying to say. Like I think either way though, this is a very good roster and I'm very confident in it.
So I agree.
There you go. All right. to end this little segment off, and then we'll talk about the other news here before we wrap up real quick. I want to ask you, if you had to rank these deals from 1 to 4 in terms of how good the contract is, not the player, how good the contract is, how would you rank them? Start off at number 4.
Like, am I basing this off like full contract, like the length and everything?
Yeah, I would say what I'm primarily focusing on when I did my ranking was like the dollar value. The years do include it though. You got to look at it how it benefits the team, but not only the team, how it benefits the player.
Okay. I as much as I like the Kaprizov contract, it's like a lot of it's like a much bigger jump than anything else. So I'll put Kaprizov at 4. Unfortunately.
Yeah, let me just like hop in here because I agree. I have it at number 4 too.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 and number 4 were the easy ones for me. It's 2 and 3 that really were like
I think 4 is definitely Krill. 1 is McDavid by far. It's not even close.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 and 3 is like honestly interchangeable because I think that the value of a good two-way center is very important, but also a very good scoring left winger is good too. But I think here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to base the Kyle Connor deal off of. Would I rather the scoring ability of Kyle Connor or the playmaking of Mitch Marner? Because they both make the same amount of money.
You can look at value too.
I can look at value. I'm gonna go with the anti-homer route. I'll put Connor at 3 and I'll put Eichel at 2, but I think both are interchangeable. I think that the value that
I agree with that because I think that again when you look at Eichel's deal, like I wouldn't say he took a pay cut, but he definitely could have went in there and asked for a lot more.
I think he could have got 15 on the open market.
Yeah, to be honest with you. So I mean, with Connor, like I think it's a good contract, but I don't really see Connor asking for that much more money than what he got.
No, I don't think so.
I don't really see him asking for that much money. So there you go. All right, we wanted to beat those to death there. We also talked about the Oilers signing, so that cuts that out of the mix. Let's talk about Filip Gustavsson. Filip Gustavsson signed a 5-year, $6.8 million contract with the Minnesota Wild. Good deal here for the Wild, honestly. I like it for both sides. Gustafsson gets his money, and not only that, Minnesota gets their goalie here locked up for the next 5 seasons. He's 27. This will take him until he is, if I'm doing the math right, 33, because this deal starts in 26-27. What do you think about this contract, Carter?
I like it. I think it's a very good deal. I think he's earned it. He's proven to be, their number one. Crazy that because they acquired him from trade, correct?
They did. They got him from Ottawa.
Right, because Ottawa really... Who was it that Ottawa really wanted?
So I'm looking up the trade here real quick. That's a good question. All right.
For Cam Talbot.
For Cam Talbot. Oh,
wow.
What a trade. Yeah.
So Cam Talbot... wow, that's crazy. And
like 3 times. Jesus.
Yeah. Good for Filip Gustavsson. He definitely earns it. He's proven to be a very good goalie.
He was also a Pittsburgh pick, too.
He was.
In February 23rd of 2018. Wow, there's a lot of interesting names in this trade. He was traded from the Penguins with Ian Cole and a first-round pick, which became K-Andre Miller, to the Ottawa Senators for Vince Dunn and a third-round pick, which became Justice Annunen. All of those players became NHLers. That's kind of crazy. That's actually kind of wild.
That's
interesting.
That's nuts, dude.
That's kind of cool. So I'll ask you this. What does this mean for Jesper Wallstedt?
I don't know.
So what I think is he's going to stay with Minnesota.
Oh, I think so too.
I said that is because you look at this deal compared to Askarov with Saros. Saros signed an 8-year contract. And not only that, Askarov was expected to play in the AHL because they had Wedgwood there at the time. So Saros is like, no, screw you. I want out. With Wallstedt, he's going to be the backup. And as well as that, too, he had a rough year this past year in Iowa. Like, it was not a good year in Iowa. Only played 2 games in the NHL. So I think he stays. And not only that, this deal will take him till he's 27 as well, 27, 28. Mm-hmm. So I think by then, he'll be fully ready to take that net over.
Yeah, I think so. I think that could be good. Or we could be telling him, get ready to learn Alberta, buddy. I'm just kidding.
You're stepping back up that.
I'm not putting that prediction out there.
We speculate with the Oilers. So
I'm just predicting every goalie to go there. Eventually, I will be right.
Yeah, at some point, you're gonna have to bet it right eventually. A couple things here before we wrap up. The LA Kings revealed their new Crown alternate jerseys. So last night, obviously, the Kings would, play their home opener. They wore their actual home jerseys in the warm-ups, but then they pulled a little switcheroo and surprised us here and wore their Crown alts out onto the ice. I will put the pictures here on screen. Carter, what did you think of these jerseys?
I feel like so many people hated them, but I thought they were cool.
The thing that people were hating on is the helmets. The helmets.
I thought the helmets were good. I thought here's the thing. I thought the jerseys were kind of plain and boring. I was like, you could have done like something a little more.
It's a little boring, but like it's fine. Like it's still fine.
But it's still fine. And I think that having just like the gray crown on the front and then you're wearing a gray helmet, that's cool. That's fun. Hockey is fun. Yeah. Okay. Stop. Just enjoy hockey. It's fun. Let the players have fun. Let us do fun, cool gimmicks. Like no one has fun anymore. This was fun. This was cool. What I think would have been really cool is if they would have went with their purple jerseys and done like that Crown logo, like the old school, like the purple, yellow, white. I think that would have been really cool. And done I guess what helmet would they have done? Would they have done like a gold helmet or like a purple helmet?
It would have depended. Probably, I have no clue. Probably it would have been cool with purple. I mean, I like the helmets. The people really criticize them though. They look interesting on the ice, that's for sure. But it's LA. Like, what do you expect? It
was a little bit of an eyesore sometimes.
Yeah. Two more things here. Actually, maybe we'll do two more things. We'll save it for the next show. Zane Parekh is expected to be a healthy scratch for the Flames season opener tonight against Edmonton.
Unlucky kid.
So the fans were excited to watch their sensational young defenseman. They'll have to wait a little bit longer. The players who are playing instead are Jake Bean and Braden Peckel. So I thought that was a little bit interesting to bring up. As well as that, too, Ryan Reeves is over Michael Misa in the Sharks opening night line projections. So I don't know if this is exactly true. I know it's confirmed that Parekh is not going to play. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. I'm not sure. I think they play tonight too, right? Because I'm doing the back-to-back.
Yeah. Yeah. They're both playing. The Sharks play at home, but Calgary plays on the road.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny that this is what's happening. I think it's kind of funny. But what do you think about Ryan Reeves over Michael Misa for the opening night?
Yeah, I think that's crazy. I think that, man, it's your home opener, and this kid's like a rookie. Why would you not try and get him out there? Get the crowd into him being there. Let him experience being a rookie and skating out there with the team. I feel like that's awesome. What I'm also wondering, Sam Dickinson's also not in the lineup either, which I thought was.
He hasn't been cut?
I don't think so. On Puckpedia it says he's in the press box.
Huh, interesting. Yeah, this feels weird. Like, it especially feels weird coming from Ryan Warsofsky.
Yeah.
Like, it feels weird coming from Ryan Warsofsky and not somebody like John Tortorella. Like, this feels like such a John Tortorella move. It's very strange to me. I thought that was kind of fun.
Dickinson did make the roster. He did.
Okay. Yeah, look at this post. So I just got a post here from the NHL. Notable young players to make the roster. Beckett Seneca, Matvey Greedon's playing tonight. Axel Sandin Pelika, Michael Brandsegg Nygaard, Emmett Finney from Detroit, Isaac Howard from Edmonton, Danila Yurov from Minnesota. Brady Martin made it from the Predators. So
he's like their first line center too.
Yes, that is that's crazy. How bad their center depth is. And that's why they held out on Evangelista for so long. Because their winger depth is so good. They're like, we don't need you. You're not a center. If he was a center, he'd be locked up like in July. Like,
dude, he would have gotten $8 million.
Yeah, literally. Arseny Gritsyuk from New Jersey, Matthew Schaefer from the Islanders, Noah Laba from the Rangers. They skipped over Luchenko, but whatever. Ben Kindle from the Penguins, Harrison Brunek as well. Michael Misa apparently getting stretched. So, yeah, there is Sam Dickinson. Did you know Berkeley Cadden made it, too, from Seattle?
I did see that. Good for him.
Easton Cowan made it in Toronto, but he is scratched tonight. He is not playing.
I thought he didn't make it. I thought they sent him down.
I think they should, but he currently is up with the team. Dmitry Simashev made it as well, and then Braden Coots made it from Vancouver, which was another shocking one there as well. So there you go. All right, well, now that we wrap up here with this episode, nice little hour-long episode for you guys. Carter, make your predictions for tonight's games. It's going to be kind of funny because you're going to listen to this and we're going to be wrong.
Okay, you make yours. I got to Google what games are on.
Oh, wow, you casual.
Okay, hold on. I got them up.
All right, go ahead.
All right, Toronto, Montreal. I'm gonna take Montreal to win that one.
Montreal always wins in that game.
Yeah, they always randomly win.
Toronto always lose. Always loses.
Yeah.
Always.
I'm gonna take Montreal. Boston, Washington. I'm gonna take Washington. Calgary, Edmonton. I'm gonna take Edmonton, and then LA, Vegas. I'm gonna take LA.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a bounce back. Actually, no, they played last night and they started their start. I'll take Vegas.
Yeah, LA kind of played ass last night too. I'm not gonna lie.
They did play bad. Oh,
That
dude,
was
the
a rough
Rangers
game.
played bad too.
Yeah.
I was shocked that they lost 3-0 to Pittsburgh. I'll be honest. That's
Arthur Shelov shutout, looking good. Justin Brazo.
Shout out
with
to him.
2. Yeah. Also want to give a shout out to Frank Nazer, Jack's boy. Jack could not make it tonight, by the way. Forgot to mention that. Frank Nazer, 2 points last night, looked great. Okay. Anyway, good episode here. Nice little hour-long one. What's up? What's
Easton
your final?
Cowan did not make their opening day roster.
No, he didn't make the opening night roster, but he's with the team.
Oh,
I meant to say.
that's
He
lame.
didn't get sent down. He's in the press box. That's what I meant to say.
Are you sure? I don't think he is.
No,
Well, I guess we'll find out when we watch the game if he's going to be shown in the press box or not.
he probably. We'll find out. Sportsnet will love to show them. They'll show Matthews right after.
Oh
All right.
my gosh.
That'll conclude this episode of the NordCast. Thank you all so much for watching or listening. We will see you guys next week with another episode, but we promise to definitely have more episodes more consistently now. We've been a little bit inconsistent recently. We're going to start really locking in here. I want to try and get at least 1 to 2 episodes a week. It depends on the guys' schedules, though, obviously. We're not in the stage where they get paid to do this, and yeah, I owe them a lot of money. Anyway, that'll do it for this episode of the NordCast. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening to yet again another episode of the NordCast. If you enjoyed, please subscribe down below or follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want to follow us on TikTok, we are at NordCast. If you want to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, follow at NordCast_. That'll do it for this episode. I'm Nordic. Thanks for listening from all the crew, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.